Hey guys, Kenzaro here, and today we've got some information regarding Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. But before we get into that, I just want to say thank you for your continued support, not just on this channel but also on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, everywhere. It means a lot to me and I really appreciate that. With that being said, let us begin with the video. So in today's video, we are going to discuss Akira Toriyama's involvement with Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. We will also learn the history of Bonyu, the new mysterious Ginyu Force member that was created by Akira Toriyama himself. We will learn a little bit more about her past and also how we are going to encounter Bonyu in the game. So let us just start off with Akira Toriyama. We've known since the announcement of DBZ Kakarot that Akira Toriyama is involved with the development of this game. However, we didn't exactly know the full details about his involvement. Thankfully, now we know a little bit more than we did before. So you see, in the story of the anime or the manga, there are many times when the author has to skip over content for the purpose of storytelling. In Frieza Saga, for example, when Namek blew up, in order to keep his readers engaged to the story, Toriyama had to let everyone think that Goku might have died on Namek. But then few chapters later, Shenron says that Goku is alive. This keeps the readers engaged into thinking what might have happened and how did Goku survive. Of course, later in the manga we did learn that Goku used one of the Ginyu Force space pods to escape from Namek, and then he landed on planet Yardrat, where he also learned instant transmission. We learned this information in the manga and anime both, but we don't really go any deeper into any of this. How exactly did Goku train on planet Yardrat? What was his training like to learn instant transmission? Was it difficult or was it easy? These sorts of missing pieces in the story is what Toriyama intends to fill in with Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Sure, the big main fights like Goku vs Vegeta, Goku vs Frieza or Cell vs Gohan, these big fights are amazing. But in DBZ Kakarot, we will also explore the events that happen between those big fights. And to fill in those portions, Akira Toriyama sent a number of different stories to Cyber Connect 2, and that is his extent of involvement with the game. Akira Toriyama intends to fill in the gaps within the story which he probably thought of back then, but for some reason or the other didn't actually include them in the manga. And these gaps could also be something that Toriyama came up after he had already drawn his manga. It could be either of the two, but the main point is we are getting new content. Now this brings us to our next point, which is Bonyu. Bonyu is an original character designed by Akira Toriyama himself, and most of you already know this. She used to be a member of the Ginyu Force, and now we know a little bit more about her. Starting off, her full title was actually Bonyu the Brains. If you remember correctly, each member of the Ginyu Force had some specialty of their own. Guldo could stop time, Butter was extremely fast, Jace did double team attacks with Butter, Raccoon, Captain Ginyu could body change, and in a similar fashion, Bonyu was not only strong, but she was also very calm and very smart. This is why she used to be known as Bonyu the Brains. Being strong and smart at the same time made her the most superior member of the Ginyu Force. She was a very talented fighter, but she left Ginyu Force because she disliked the poses of the rest of the members. At the moment in the story, no one really knows where Bonyu is and what she's doing. So how exactly are we going to encounter her in DBZ Kakarot? Well, we have some more information regarding that. Remember when planet Namek blew up and Goku used a Ginyu spaceport to go to Yardrat? It turns out while he was on his way to planet Yardrat, in the spaceport he found some battle information and data regarding Bonyu. The spaceport might look tiny, but remember that it is a spaceship after all, so it does have information and data on various people. Goku finds this data on Bonyu in the spaceport, and then later when he is back on Earth, he can take this data to Capsule Corp. Using this data, Capsule Corp can sort of create a projection of Bonyu and her fighting style, and Goku can actually fight her projection in order to train. Now that is amazing. I really love the way they are doing things here, and furthermore you might actually remember one of the pre-order bonuses for DBZ Kakarot is that you get an early unlock of Bonyu in the training mode. So now you know how to unlock her without pre-ordering the game. But moving on from Bonyu, we have some more tidbits of information. The driving license episode, I did cover this topic in my Kakarot Q&A video, but in case you missed it, let me remind you that the driving license episode is not something that takes place in a closed off portion of the game. When you reach the driving license episode, you get a mini game which you need to sort of pass in order to get your driving license. And once you have your license, you can drive your car in the fields and anywhere else that you would like. So car driving is not just something like a one-time thing or just a mini game. You can drive a car wherever you want. And then we have one more last thing. Are you wondering why this game is covering the Z portion of the story? Why didn't it start at Super, or why didn't it start at Dragon Ball? Well, I covered this question in my Q&A video as well, and there were many reasons for why choosing Dragon Ball Z was the best choice for this game. The game producer just added one more reason to that list. He said that due to the massive popularity of Dragon Ball Super and Dragon Ball Super Broly, Dragon Ball has tons of new people who are interested in this franchise. As crazy as it may sound, there are tons and tons of people who actually haven't seen Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z. The Z portion is where the story of the franchise completely went on a different scale. We learned in episode 1 that Goku is an alien, he has a brother, we learn about the science and so much more. For the game producers, this was a very good opportunity to introduce new fans to the franchise and then get them to experience that Dragon Ball Z lore through the game. So there you have it. That is all for this video. Remember that Dragon Ball Z Kakarot releases on January 16, 2020 in Japan, and it's January 17 worldwide. I'm going to cover this game to the best of my ability, so don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell, but don't hit it too hard. Share this video around, it really helps the channel. Thanks for your support and I will see you next time.